I've never been to Arkansas before. I grew up in Louisiana. I grew up in New Orleans, and I've never been here. And I've heard great things about the festival. And they invited me and want to celebrate the new film that I made called The Baltimorons, which is releasing theatrically this fall on September 12th in Little Rock. I just found out. So yeah, it's just fun to come celebrate a movie in the movie theater with film lovers and, explore a new place and see what's going on over here. So The Baltimorons is a story about two unlikely characters who get stranded on Christmas Eve and are trying to make the best of it. And we filmed it in Baltimore all night during the Christmas season. It's a very handmade, homemade film. And we experienced all the wonderful and terrible things that Baltimore has to offer. And, the whole thing was just a blast. It was, I kind of returned to my roots on this one and just made a homemade movie with non-movie stars who just really wanted to be a part of making a great piece of art. And, we followed our hearts, and it's pretty wild that we're going to get, a pretty solid theatrical release. It's very rare to get a theatrical release for an independent film nowadays, especially one that doesn't have movie stars. I mean, Michael Strassner and Liz Larson, I think, will be movie stars, but yeah, it's pretty exciting to just to know that, basically what I'm hearing from people when they leave the movie theater is like, this is the kind of movie I want to see on a Saturday night. And so it's cool. It feels like I threw a Hail Mary, and IFC, caught the pass. Those of you Razorback fans who want a football reference. Festivals like this are everything to independent films. First of all, I premiered this film at South by Southwest in Austin. It won the Audience Award, and we sold it on the heels of that screening at that festival. So hugely, you just can't, there's no other place to really sell a movie, because when you get to go to a festival and you get to put it in front of, 400 people, 1,000 people, whatever it may be, the audience response is undeniable. So that's a huge deal. But, also independent films are it's a tough landscape right now. And sometimes festivals like this are the only places that you're actually going to get to see your movie play in front of audiences, because we live in a streaming world now, and people don't want to leave their houses. They're happy when they do, but they don't want to do it. So, I've been on a little bit of a tour with this film, going to festivals, and it's been, I don't know, it just renews my faith in, people wanting to come together and experience something together, because that's what a movie theater really is all about. It's like not just seeing something on a big screen and seeing and hearing it big and beautiful, but it's also about sharing it with other people, the people that you came with, and with strangers as well. So I came up writing and directing movies with my brother. From 2005 to 2011, we made 5 feature films, all from, independent homemade stuff up to major studio movies. Our last movie in that run was a $10 million movie that Paramount put out. It's been a long road for me to get back to this. It's taken us a long time to figure out that, we both knew that directing movies is really hard, and directing independent films is almost impossible. And it just took us a long time to figure out that that's not really what he wants to do, and that is actually exactly what I want to do. So originally we wanted to be the Coen Brothers 2.0 together. We had that moment for a little bit, but now I'm coming back on my own, and it was terrifying. It was totally terrifying. Nobody wants to be the solo act that falls very short of like the dynamic duo, you know what I mean? So it was very scary, but I just came from a place of, this is a story I want to tell, this is a movie I want to make, I love doing this, that's enough. And luckily it's been, probably our most successful movie on the festival circuit so far. So it's a relief that it wasn't, you know, a giant collapse. Because I think what you're afraid of is that people are going to say, oh, his brother was the one with the special sauce. You know what I mean? That's the terror, and so far it doesn't feel like that's the case. We both are talented in our own ways, so it feels nice to see that play out. To make a small indie was really just about the fact that I was trying to get back to making movies. The longer you go without making a movie, the more Hollywood forgets about you. It really is not what have you done, but what have you done lately. Not to mention I was making a movie without my brother, so nobody knew if I would be any good. We went through the pandemic. That was an incredibly hard time for independent films, mainly because, if you're making a movie that costs $200,000, $300,000, your COVID budget is going to be more expensive than the movie itself. So that kind of died. And then I was building some films to try to make on the heels of that, and then we had our strikes. So I was really floundering there for a while, and by the time the strikes were wrapping up, I really thought to myself, I need to make a movie that's so homemade and so small that nobody can stop me from making it. So that was really the impetus behind it. But what's crazy is these cameras are so incredible now. There's really very little barrier to entry to making something beautiful. I think it's probably the most beautiful film I've made. It's raw, but I think it's a gorgeous movie. I hired a documentary cinematographer to shoot it. So it's very raw, but it's beautiful, and it is exciting now. The technology has advanced so much, and it's so affordable, that really the only limitation to making a good film now is your own creativity and ingenuity, which is terrifying. Can't blame it on the cameras or the film anymore. I don't mind talking about my movie, but or talking about making movies in general. But what I find odd is that the communication is the movie. That actually is the communication. So it's always a little awkward to articulate a bunch of things after you made the movie, because it's like, well, that's what I wanted to say. What the movie says is what I actually want to say, not these impromptu answers that I'm coming up with here and now, because people are asking questions. But if people are genuinely interested, I'm genuinely interested in answering those questions.